The problem with filmmaking tutorial channels on YouTube, discussion. So I've been watching YouTube tutorials on YouTube for years for editing, coloring, sound, camera, lenses, lighting, and so on. However, the channels making these videos are not really filmmakers. Some of them are, some of them aren't. You're not wrong. It seems like it's very gear and very like camera information heavy. Yes, that's very useful, but I feel like that's one slice of a much bigger pie, and it's because most of the rest of the pie is a lot more boring and mundane and less exciting than camera stuff. Almost all these channels are people who film travel blogs, commercials, music videos, and weddings. Commercials, I would say, is very close to film. Music videos, I'd say, is pretty close to film. Travel vlogs is not. Weddings is its own thing. It's the same equipment, but I would consider weddings a completely different thing altogether. They constantly make videos about cinematic color grading and lighting, cinematic camera movement, and so on. It's obsession with just pretty pictures and nothing else. I personally find this group of videographers very different from the filmmakers. It's all converging, and honestly, the toolbox is deep. And so just because they're not teaching how to set up blocking for a shot, or they're not teaching how to interact with actors, or they're not teaching how to track emotion on the page, it doesn't mean they're not filmmakers. That's different from how I used to feel, but it's true. They're legit. They're just, it's a different set of priorities, a different set of specialties, but a lot of it translates. But again, wedding filmmaking is its own thing, almost specifically. Anyway, I'm a narrative filmmaker working with actors and story. Preach. It's hard to really use much of these cinematic tutorials. I'm trying to have a scene with certain emotions behind it. These videos don't help since they're never trying to portray dramatic character-driven stories. I agree. They are tutorials for up-and-coming freelance videographers making commercials and so on. Yeah, it's true. It's true. You might be better served taking an acting course or hanging out at a college that has a theater program. I'm just saying, if you want to work with actors, go where the actors go. Is that a phrase? That's not a phrase. I'm looking for channels that actually make narrative film tutorials discussing lighting and editing, dialogue, scenes, medium, close-up for the right scene, things that pertain to narrative stories. Also, making narrative films has so much more work involved. Yes, it does. On one end of the spectrum, you have travel filmmakers who literally just put the tripod up and click play. And then you have scripted narrative filmmaking, which is as complex as it gets. There's a whole gap in between, but yes, you're talking about this. I totally agree. We need all these roles on set, even when working on a small film. Yes and no. And even more people on a slightly larger production. Well, yeah, that's the productions expand like a balloon. None of the channels I found ever help with actually working on set, making your own film. One channel I found is Studio Binder. Yes. They make videos. This helps. Does anyone know of other? Film Riot, Rocket Jump Film School. What are some other ones? Me, to a much lesser extent. Masterclass. Ron Howard's directing for TV masterclass is going to be probably the most effective, I'd say, because he gets it. I could probably just look. I'm on the. Let me just pull up my YouTube channel and see who I'm subscribed to, and I could tell you. Well, Smosh Pit doesn't teach; they just are silly. This channel specifically has stuff related to filmmaking. So, Film Courage is good for conversational stuff. I have opinions about some of the people on there because I know some of the people on there, and I have opinions. Filmmaker IQ is good, sort of like general ed, history of cinema kind of stuff. Frame Voyager has been really good about sort of the lore of filmmaking stuff lately. A lot of it has to do with cameras, but I like their sort of the lore that they're doing. Cinema Sticks, kind of, but they're kind of just I'd say Cinema Sticks because they sort of do shallow dives on sort of like this kind of director does this kind of thing. They're fun. It's very YouTubey. Like it's very like it's a YouTube title. Oh, Every Frame of Painting and Nerdwriter. BAFTA Guru is very good. Jay Horton has interesting podcasts, and he talks. It's a lot of like micro budget filmmakers talking about micro budget filmmaking. It's interesting. Sometimes it's useful, sometimes it's not. Now You See It, yeah. Indie Mogul, but I think that's a dead channel now, but for a long time it was Indie Mogul. They were super helpful. A lot of stuff right when I was in grad school. They were putting out really useful stuff. Entertain the Elk is video essays, I believe. Studio Binder, which you said. Yeah, Pony Smasher is David F. Sandberg, who did Shazam. He's a visual effects guy, but he understands directing too. And so he doesn't post a lot, but everything he's posted, I've been like, holy crap, why does nobody else talk about this? It's crazy. He's so good. Writers Guild Foundation has good sort of screenwriter deep dive stuff. It's helpful. Variety, Actors on Actors, and the Screenwriters Roundtable, Variety's channel does that. It's worthwhile. Cook Optics TV does a lot of cinematography stuff. That's helpful. DSLR Guide for indie filmmaker stuff. His channel is weird and smaller now, but he used to be in the same time where Film Riot was putting out a lot of like no budget stuff. DSLR Guide was doing that too, and he was very good at it. Oh, and pretty much it. Yeah. So that's did I name enough? Pony Smasher, Film Riot, Rocket Jump, In Camera, Film Editing Pro, yeah. Film Courage, yeah. D for Darius. Yeah, D for Darius used to be really good. He's done different stuff recently, but his back catalog is really good. It's a long response. I don't know. Stop selling ice at the center of the North Pole. Focus on being a film worker, not a filmmaker. I disagree. If your end game is being a director or, you know, like a auteur, although that's a myth, if that's your goal, learning different tasks is good, but also the idea that you would just be like, well, everybody's got a screenplay, everybody's a director, so don't bother doing that. I disagree. Yeah, because the end game for me is still running a show. So, D for Darius, yeah. Brady Bissett, I like Brady Bissett. It's cinematography stuff. Wow, D for Darius is getting a lot of... Oh, Wolf Crow, yeah, I like Wolf Crow. That's kind of a dead channel too. I mean, Upshot, Downshot, I think I've seen all the filmmaking channels. Yeah, here's DSLR Guide. Indie Mogul died, yeah. I like Rob Ellis. He came up during the pandemic. He's cool for lighting and cinematography stuff. Anyway, moving on.